Hello, welcome back to my channel, and today we're taking a look at Skulls and Bones from Ubisoft. Now, this game's been around for a while. It's finally reached its release date, so to say. I was part of a couple of closed betas, so I obviously cannot share the footage from it. But just looking back in time, within the closed betas, I must say the performance and overall visual graphical quality was kinda questionable at best. So I'm not exactly surprised that they pulled the game back multiple times. Now it's finally here. Obviously Ubisoft feels confident enough to actually give people 8 hours of free trial, that if you purchase the game the progression carries over. And honestly I think it's a pretty bold step, to be fair, because again, you know, not too many games from Ubisoft get the trial versions out. Obviously we did have Breakpoint trial, we did have Wildlands trial and so on, but you know, it's been a good while. Now let's talk about the system requirements. This game is made in Anvil New or Anvil Plus, depends how you look at the engine. Pretty much upgraded engine from Valhalla's days, which also uses the Anvil technology. Obviously it's a little bit taxing, but at the same time I do expect it to be slightly better performing than the previous iteration. When it comes to the game's requirements, Ubisoft finally have figured out to split it down to 3 sections. Minimum requirements for Full HD 30 frames, recommended for Full HD 60, and anything above Full HD. So let's go through that real quick. The minimum requirements for Full HD 30 frames requires you at least a GTX 1060 with 6GB of video memory, which I believe is actually a pretty decent requirement. I would not say that you will be stuck on 30 frames with the 1060, I do believe you will squeeze out slightly more, but as a baseline that's a pretty good assumption. For recommended Full HD at 60 frames, they want you to have at least RTX 2070, which then again is a pretty, I would say, good requirement. It's, you know, it makes sense. For 2K gaming, so 4040p 60 frames, they want you to have at least a 3070, which honestly again I do acknowledge that this is how it is. When I was participating in the closed betas, I actually had 1080 Ti back in the day, so we're talking literally 2 years back. Performance was all over the place, even on Full HD it was not cutting it. With 3070, performance was okayish on Full HD, rather janky on 2K and absolutely unplayable in 4K, even with DLSS on. But obviously now, even just going through the motions of regular benchmarks for this game, I must say the performance has improved massively. And for recommended for 4K 60 frames, they want you to have an RTX 3080. So I must say this actually kind of ties in with everything I would expect for this game, considering the development cycle and multitude of closed betas that took place in the last 2 years. So what we're gonna have is obviously 4070 Ti. We're going with a 4K native, and we're not gonna use any upscalers, so we're not using DLSS. So let's have a little gander here. Let's go for the settings, start with the visuals. So we're going borderless. There's only 2 options, windowed or borderless. 4K native, no vertical sync, field of view slightly cranked, no FPS limit obviously. For the graphical we're going with the ultra high preset, no adaptive quality. We don't want game to automatically switch down textures and whatnot, and we're not using any upscaling. So for upscaling, the game does support obviously DLSS and FSR2. We're going with a native res, so we're not gonna use any of that. Environments and all like this is obviously ultra high as we can actually crank stuff up. And this game does now have a benchmark, which I believe is also a very good thing. Nothing new when it comes to the Ubisoft itself. And for this particular run we're gonna be, well, playing with ray tracing enabled. Now for the ray tracing implementation for Anvil, it's kinda, I wouldn't say it's been done before, at least I don't recall any Ubisoft title with the ray tracing literally just enabled in the game, but then again I haven't followed them for a while. So let's start the benchmark, MSI running up here, and we're gonna use a built-in benchmark performance monitoring tool as well, just to have a better understanding of how much RAM and CPU we're using. Technically MSI will reflect those as well, but the MSI's polling rate is about 500 milliseconds, so it gives you rather stable FPS curve instead of the live metric that Ubisoft provides within their own games. So let's just enable this. And as we can see straight off the bat, we're going with the 4K Ultra preset, no DLSS, and we are literally 70-ish frames, so low 60s I would want to say. Now granted, I am recording in 4K while playing in 4K, and honestly without recording we're kind of usually hovering around 80-ish, give or take. So, you know, a couple frames penalty loss for recording is not really a big deal. And then again, honestly, as you can see, we're pulling 8.3 gigs of video memory and 12 gigs of RAM. And with all the settings cranked, having above 60 frames, that means that even slightly, you know, different GPU users will actually have a pretty good experience and good performance with the game, which I must say I really do appreciate Ubisoft of actually taking their time. And when it comes to their closed betas, it was one of those, if you participate in a closed beta, you are barraged by multiple surveys, emails and stuff like this. I'm not gonna go through what exactly they were testing, because obviously I'm still under NDA, as much as I would like to show and tell, but I'm just gonna leave it to it, because I honestly do not recognize the game in comparison to the closed betas. Like, this is a brand new title I'm seeing right now, and I feel kinda happy, to be fair, because yeah, the old beta which we were part of, it's wow, it's a good thing it's never gonna see the daylight. So what do we have? Average frames 72, minimum was 45, kind of expected. CPU 1312, and this is the performance. So even with an i5 and 4070 Ti in 4K, you actually get a pretty decent performance. Now Nvidia has released a new driver specifically for Skulls and Bones. Obviously I'm running that latest driver, so I must say it's not too bad. Let's jump into the game itself, just to see how the game looks and feels, and we'll just go from there really.
When corporations as mighty as nations rule the seas and dominate the world's valuable trade.
I think there was an option to skip this actually, at least in a demo version, but hey ho. I'm just gonna, you can observe this pre-rendered cutscene, which will be going up and down in frames obviously, because there's a lot of things going on there, but it actually looks visually pretty nice. I cannot say that, you know, it's not nice. So yeah, visually I must say Ubisoft has pulled a rabbit out of the hat slightly. Now I do know there are some reviews going out in regards to the mechanics of the game and other things, and honestly I'm not gonna even touch that. I haven't played this game for that long to actually know what the mechanics are or if they're lacking something. I'm just here to strictly look at the numbers themselves, and that's what I'm gonna be doing, because, you know, end of the day it's Ubisoft, so what am I gonna say about it? Right, so here we are, actual game itself. Again, pulling 6.7 gigs of video memory, 11, well, almost, nearly 12 gigs of RAM, 70-ish frames, with no upscalers. I mean, I must say this is pretty cool. Okay. Slight frame drop with explosions, kind of expected really when you think about it. And this is, like, visually I must say this is kind of like Odyssey level. And when you play Odyssey or you play even Origins, every time you're on water, it does look good. I cannot exactly say that they dropped the ball on this. Visually this game is nothing like the demo. This looks so good. And it runs good as well, surprisingly enough. And then again, I do believe we need to lose the ship eventually, because otherwise how else we gonna start the game, so to say. You can actually try to headshot these things. Come on. Oh no, the flagship. Almost had them. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna survive this battle. It's going pretty hard on us here. But we're making good progress here. Obviously some weak spots on the ships. That closed demo usually, or the closed beta actually never had any naval battles. You kind of started with on the shore, so I do believe this is how you end up on the shore with your ship completely in tatters, so I'm not exactly surprised. I'm just waiting for that to happen, really. Out of bounds. Oh wow, that's... And they're actually quite... They're giving you a whole minute to get back into the preferred area of operations. Yeah, well... Okay. Let's ram this, see what happens. I'm not sure if we're supposed to survive this or this is just a little bit on a, you know, good luck moment. But hey, we'll see how it goes. Alright. Now, I know that people kind of want to have something like the Black Flag experience, but I must say so far the naval battles are not too shabby. All things considered. Okay, you know what? Let's go and kissy this one. They are slightly spawning in things, which is not exactly surprising, all things considered, but kind of feels like I'm doing something wrong here because we should be getting a little bit headway here. Also, I'm not sure if I'm damaging this ship correctly. Oh well, I see. Okay, this wasn't too bad. Let's see how it next goes. I think we're now finally getting to the character creation, which might lack some features when you think about it, but then again, you know, if you want to tune every single little thing on a character, it might be slightly different. And this is essentially where the demo actually, or the closed beta started, exactly on this screen. So it was before the naval battle. And the crab actually is better looking than it was before. So that's good. That crab back in the day was just a pixel. Not even joking. Right. I'm just gonna make our character whatever, and we'll see how it goes. I see there's a slight character swap has taken place in regards who you meet. There was different characters in this location. Okay, that's fine. Maybe it plays randomly for every new player, whichever character you end up on a boat as your first crew. But yeah, the performance, even right here, the performance is just pretty decent. And again, 4K Ultra, when it comes to Ubisoft titles, you don't really want to be on an Ultra spectrum. You want to be medium-high mix. Like, that's the best you can get out of it. And surprisingly enough, I'm looking at the CPU usage currently, and it's actually using all the cores, and we only have 6 of them. And even with 6 cores, stock, we are above 60 frames, which honestly is... I would want to say it's an achievement, because even Odyssey, even Origins, sometimes did have a hiccup. Playing in 4K with Ultra and even doing the benchmarks, because it was rather big open world, and this is supposedly open world as well, but it's kind of broken down in multiple segments. So yeah, right, anyhow, let's hoist the sail, head for the starting point. I see we have some other players here as well. Obviously this game does support crossplay. You can turn it on or off, but if you have any friends you can just play with them. Hey. Okay, all of these are level 1s, so they're probably doing the quest. The first quest you get in this game is actually really annoying. You need to get some resources and you just like float around it, and then you need to loot the ship. So this is one of the British fleet ships. But yeah, it's actually not too bad. Now I see we are kind of on a high 60 now, but even though I wouldn't want to say this is bad. Let's check out the island. Oh, back in a day I was getting about 40-ish frames here. And this looks so much better than before. You know, you might have remembered that I have quite strong feelings towards Ubisoft when it comes to certain things and game aspects and performance, but I do believe they actually made something good here. Now, in regards to crafting and everything else, a little bit of fetch quests, you can't escape it. That's in every Ubisoft game, honestly. Oh, we have another different character swap here. Interesting. They have reworked quite a few things, I must say. And the dialogue is different as well. Wow. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. They've changed the dialogue and the flow of the conversation. Completely different than the closed beta. Then again, I haven't been I did not participate in the last two because, you know, knowing how little progress there was on the previous ones, I thought, you know, I can't share the footage, you know, I'm under NDA. I'm not gonna bother too much, but yeah, I can see some massive changes in here. Those people who have actually participated in the closed beta, you probably know what I'm talking about. Like what used to take place in this particular location. As the starter, but yeah, okay. Contraband has been lost. Oh wow, they made the contraband. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I must say this is kind of funny, right? So for people who used to play or participated in the beta, you are actually not getting this, oh, I know what I'm doing, oh, this is so boring. You actually have to go through other stuff. I'm not sure how often this has been there, like when was the change made, but nevertheless, let's go and have a look-sees.
Wouldn't trust the officer to guide a fish in open seas, but if the bugger knows the
Right, let's see if all of those things are in the same location as they were.
these fish for food.
You must strike fast.
Those corpses. We might have to search them.
Explosive firearms. Opulent rum. Okay. Okay. Okay, they have They also changed the quest a little bit. You know, this is actually even better, to be fair. I was honestly expecting they're gonna be stuck with the previous quest line, which was essentially a fetch quest, all things considered. Photo mode, toggle rear, toggle cruise nest. Okay. Well, the performance is kinda 60-ish, but again, I do believe this is due to the recording, and even though it actually feels very nice, even on... I should have actually feed my crew. I think we should have fed the crew a little bit. This is where we need to get the other things, yes.
I think we have enough.
And we have the sharks. Yeah, I forgot about the sharks. We already have the spear. Wow, that's new.
Come at me, beast.
We had to, in a closed beta, we had to learn and kind of get the blueprint for a spear. But in here, you just have it. That's not bad. Okay, I do kind of like it. Slightly dipping below 60, but still way better than it was before. And this is just like, you know, the live test, so obviously there's going to be certain patches, certain improvements coming our way.
Those cops says we might have to search.
And I wonder...
The crew is too spent to continue, Captaini!
I wonder... Requires crowbar. Okay, so they did leave that in. Okay, okay, you know what, this is... I am pleasantly surprised about the performance. Now the thing is, if you take a lot of things back in the day, so to say, that you actually have a weight limit on your boat. But even for now, it's actually pretty... a different spin on things. It's not bad. It's not bad. Deliver. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. So it's a quest stuff. Let's submit it. There we go.
Scarelock may well spare my head, but I cannot say the same for you. After I tell you about the captain who failed to protect his cargo. Find your own way to St. Anne, chump sniffer. I don't owe you a sliver up your ass, especially when mine's on the line. Why don't you ask Captain Rassler? His bloated corpse might know the way. Now fuck off, binge rat.
Okay, invite the group is still there. Return to your DAO for information. Now, I wonder... I have actually forgotten how to craft stuff, because usually the crafting was done by the person we were talking just now. But we would need to have the crowbar stuff to open the passage into the ship, and so on and so forth. But I must say, you know, this is something you have 8 hours to explore, 8 hours to get in grips with the mechanics and so forth. Now, when it comes to the game's performance, obviously we were dropping below 60 slightly at times, 58 and stuff like this, but then again, ultra settings on everything with no upscaler, I kinda would want to go with, you know, slightly expected, you know, but this will probably be fixed, because even with when Odyssey just came out, it had exactly the same thing, and within a half a year they actually released certain optimization patches, and the game even now runs absolutely fine in 4K 60. Never, still sometimes drops below 60, you know, when there's a big firefight or whatever, but yeah, to be fair guys, I must say, I was a little bit on the fence when it comes to this game, and Ubisoft's ability on delivering certain things, but I must say I'm pleasantly surprised. Now, in regards playing this game, if you like everything pirate related, if you played Sea of Thieves, if you played Black Flag, this might be something different, slightly. There will be a bit more grind based on how the progression works and how the infamous level, or your level as a pirate captain, your street rep or sea rep should I say, works. Upgrade path is similar. There's a lot of traveling up and down and all around, and yeah, this is just a very tiny little piece. This is just a training area essentially where you just learn how to get stuff done. So yeah, I must say this is not bad. And of course Ubisoft is keeping me on the clock here, 7 hours 45 minutes for the free trial. Yeah, you know what, it's absolutely fine. I am not surprised about this, but I do like what they've done. I do like it. This is an improvement. All things. Let's control action wheel.
Little weasel to the very end. If the bastard says wrestler might have the map to St. Anne, we should search his wreck.
I do like that they got rid of the very weird fetch quests that were taking place before in this location. They were so annoying, you guys. Oh, okay. They actually gave us a crowbar straight off the bat, instead of trying to find a blueprint on everywhere else. Oh, this looks way better now. Wow, okay. This looks definitely way better. Oh, this has scale finally. Yeah, let's give it a good shot. Let's see if I can still remember how to shoot with these things. Look at this. Ah, this is so nice. Now, this serves no actual purpose. It's more about you getting accustomed with if you're working the cannon. But then again, why not? So you can see it just pops back in. It's like a shooting range of a sort. Oh, this is so nice. Well, I would say nice, but I think you kind of get idea. And performance in here was absolutely terrible. You would not believe me if I told you. I did have the footage saved when I wanted to cover the closed beta despite the NDA. I decided against it because, you know, it's not worth it. End of the day. I know that a lot of work has gone into this game, and you might think that Ubisoft is a money-grubbing entity, pretty much along the lines of EA, and you're not wrong. But then again, I know that there's a lot of different people who are actually interested in making the game better rather than just getting money, because as you might imagine, they're not getting the same pay as the CEOs and the execs. So that's a thing. Now I do have to get in here. Nice, look at this. Escape the Forsaken Atolls and set sail for St. Anne. Look at all this gold. Like my guy, grab a bag. I don't know, I think this is actually gonna be pretty interesting. I wouldn't want to jinx it, but I do have a good feeling about this, considering how many changes have taken place ever since my participation in the closed beta. I must say I'm a little bit impressed, you know, and I'm not a person to be easily impressed, specifically when it comes to Ubisoft. But I must say they've done something right here. They've done something good. I think we need to repair and upgrade the dough before we can go somewhere.
We found a way to St. Anne and a letter bearing Skurlock's mark. The Kingpin will surely want to know what happened to his cargo.
Or Jones Carol. We'll have people from a flintlock reserved for our heads.
Or just yours, friend. Ha! What's a pirate's life without a little peril and mischief, eh? With the cargo from the Exeter lost, Skurlock will need a daring rogue like yourself to procure new goods for his pirate empire. And so far, your fortune has steered us true. I'm glad we pulled your corpse from the sea, friend. Wrestler is dead, and with him, all prior obligations or duties. You are free to make your own luck now, Captain.
Captain, is it? As long as you don't steer us into the blasted rocks.
We're finally getting out of these cursed atolls. Fortune smiles upon you, Captain. Something tells me we're going to be just fine. Think I might even stick around for a while. Imagine what else we could accomplish together, Captain.
Let's go for the mainland. I'm kind of curious.
Enemies, conquer any threat. We could defy the gods themselves.
If this is the actual game currently, like this is the trial, so you know it's a progressive trial. You still get the main game unlocked if you purchase it. I must say they got rid of so many unnecessary crap, you would not believe me. It's been what, 20 minutes and we're actually going for the Saint Man. In the previous stuff, you are spending 2 hours in this location. Going back and forth doing stuff, upgrading, fixing, feeding, cooking. There are some things we did not do, which were on the map. And it would be kinda, you know, nice to do probably if you're exploring everything, but this is already... I'm a little bit impatient, perhaps, of going to a certain places, but yeah, this is Ubisoft Singapore. Okay. So clearly these guys know what to do. Ubisoft Belgrade. Will we have Ubisoft Montreal as well, I wonder? Kiev. Okay. Montreal, yeah. Obviously, Mumbai. Quite a few locations have participated, it seems. Maybe that's why it actually runs good. Ah, man can hope. But yeah, visually it looks way better. I'm not even mad if it drops below 60, you know. All things considered, pff, absolutely fine.
Smell that salt, spice, and sin, Captain. The Indian Ocean holds many secrets and mysteries. The smuggling den of St. Anne is one of its hidden gems. Whatever a pirate needs, this place has it in stock. St. Anne is where we turn our luck into fortune, friend. Skurlock can get us started. That letter is proof you're a pirate worth a lick of salt. Hey, don't look at me. You're the best pirate to win Skurlock over. Me? Ah, yeah. I had my shot in the past. We don't need Skurlock's loyalty to gain infamy and influence. Only his connections. A proper ship would be a start. Unless you want to keep cozying up on your dhow. I'll stay by the ship while you tread shore. Pay no mind to the bottom feeders, Captain. Remember, we answer only to the winds of fate.
I don't think my character looks like a full-blown pirate if you ask me, but hey, who am I to judge, right? Right, yeah, let's see how this location treats us.
That carcass is just about falling apart.
So yeah, this is apparently one of the hubs, probably where you can upgrade, repair the ship, whatnot. It's actually not bad. Right, I think I've actually taken enough of your time, guys. This is, as you know, the performance of the 4K Ultra, no DLSS, RTX enabled. So I'll leave you to it, and I'll see you next time. Over and out.